at PGF Court.
So today we're proposing, should the PGF consider a mid-season trade deadline? Other sports have them, but currently the only trades that seem to exist happen at the draft. And starting off today, we're going to have Egghead take the very first stab at presenting an argument. Let's put 1 minute on the clock for him for his opening statement.
The PGF is all about ease of access. All right, we want to make jiu-jitsu easy for people to digest. So 6-minute rounds, easy scoring. Hey, there's sub or no sub, and we want to tell stories of people. We want to get people, to hear about teams and themes, and to get people promoted out there. Now, if you start changing things midway, okay, wait a second. I thought Handsome Kevin was on this team. He's on this team? What is he, a traitor? Oh, yeah, he seems like the traitor type. But it's just going to be confusing. And again, that's going to be more problems with getting the major audience involved. I mean, baseball does this all the dang time, and it's annoying as can be. No one has any faith in that people will be a part of a team, that they'll be, good team players. And you heard the winning team here, New Hope Regeneration, had a wonderful team dynamic, and that helped them win.
That will be your time, Counselor. Thank you very much. Kevin, I am now ready for your opening statement. 1 minute on the clock.
Yeah, I think the PGF is a adaptive and very modern style of sports league. They're changing things on the fly. Why not this? We've done something new, not a single new thing, several new things every season. Midweek changes. We did the draft auction this year instead of a snake draft or any classic draft. We've changed up things as far as like how the alternates get in, and the alternates are done. We had Jacob Howarth change teams. We had Christos change teams. Things have been changing on the fly. There was a mid-season, there was a discussion to be had about, hey, this is the new interpretation of these positions in the rules. This is what the PGF does. This is what it does well. This is what it's excellent at, is it constantly adapts and moves on to the next thing. And the next thing we need to address is trades. It could reinvigorate a lineup. It could reinvigorate a season. Instead of just getting blown out all season, you have a chance to make a comeback. You can gamble on it, and that creates an exciting season.
All right. Thank you very much for that. Kevin, I'm going to start with your cross-examination time. You have 1 minute on the clock.
Did you find the handsome trader dynamic story that you just brought up? Was that interesting to you?
That you're a traitor to your people?
Yeah.
I find you just interesting because you're kind of...
Was that interesting to you, yes or no?
That you were a traitor?
The example you presented, was it interesting to you, yes or no? Please stop eating my time.
I don't understand your question because you weren't actually a traitor. You were on
the hypothetical story.
You were on a team.
The hypothetical story you presented, was it interesting? This man has eaten 30 seconds of my time.
Then you should have asked a better question.
He's just being evasive.
Evasive? I'm trying to understand your question.
You brought up a baseball example. Do you watch baseball?
Not as much as jiu-jitsu.
But you do watch baseball.
Yeah, Red Sox
You
fan.
tune in. You are a fan of baseball. Despite the midseason trades you brought up, they haven't put you off of it.
I rarely watch it.
And that will be your time. Egg, you now get the opportunity to go into Kevin's cross-examination time.
All right. So you talked about Howarth and Papadelos switching teams. That's correct, isn't it?
Yes.
And they did so because they had to, right?
They were given the option. They actually had the option whether they would like to change teams or not.
That's lovely. But the PGF had to make that happen because we needed players. Is that not true?
No, that's not true. We actually had multiple players in the building that could have gone in instead of them, and they were given the option.
We pulled you from the commentary table here.
So
what are we going to do?
I was in the building and available.
Are we going to get the former Raiders next from security? No, they have to keep protected.
Why wouldn't
they
we
can't
do
make
that?
the weight. But the point is, it had to happen. And another point is that, hey, you never saw them on another team because New Hope Regeneration never had to put them in. So they never switched teams.
We did see them on another team.
Not visibly.
That green was very visible.
No, they weren't on a team until they went to another one because New Hope Generation never needed a reserve player. All five made it the whole time.
Are you claiming they were invisible for
Gentlemen,
the period of time they were on the wrong team?
time is expired. No further discussion on that. Let's now get into closing statements. Egg, you kick off with 1 minute.
Loyalty and storylines and camaraderie, esprit de corps. These are important things that can motivate and inspire our watchers, our audience, fans of sports. We only have 4 days in our season, and if we start switching things up midstream, you're going to lose all that goodwill, all that storyline that you had. It's problematic, it raises barriers, and it's going to turn people off. Because if people that aren't used to jiu-jitsu are just trying to learn the sport itself, and then you throw the distractor of, wait a second, I can't follow this because I thought they were on that team, not that team. No, this, and they swap 3 different ways. Wait a second, do their points swap with them? What goes on next? It's too much. It's a distractor. Keep it simple. Keep it clean. Keep it the professional grappling federation that we all know and love.
Kevin, your time begins now.
You keep bringing up storylines and talking about how important they are. My opponent here keeps insisting that these storylines are what are important, but betrayal is a storyline. Betrayal is a storyline. The choice between do I chase the money or do I stay with the team, it suddenly creates a dynamic that's incredibly interesting. It's compelling. We're talking about it right now. He brought up interesting examples. Loyalty is interesting, especially when it clashes against your other priorities, your competitiveness, things like that. What we're talking about is adding another layer onto an already existing good product, something that you guys already tune in for. How crazy would it be to see halfway through the season, me and Elijah in season 5 end up on the same team? After all that talk, how crazy would it be after Brad Schneider and Sam Schwartz quite literally got in each other's faces with hands and fingers? Suddenly they're on the same team. That creates an incredible dynamic. It's compelling drama, and I think we need to entertain it.
Thank you, gentlemen, for a invigorating court today. Both of you had solid arguments, which is unusual for this court. But let's start with the idea of ease of access. Egg was arguing that, yes, we need to make it very simple for people. And while that does work for a little bit of time, it does beg the question, are our audiences not smart enough to follow small adjustments? That is a big question. Kevin came through with excellent forms of rhetoric, had multiple points and a couple examples. But Kevin, I must ask you, on CrossX, do you remember your line of questioning?
What are we talking about?
What did you... Yeah, okay, that's not very promising. Do you remember specifically what you asked Egg during CrossX?
The hypothetical story...
You were on a team.
The hypothetical story you presented wasn't interesting. This man has eaten 30 seconds of my time.
Then you should have asked a better question.
He's just being evasive. Oh, I asked him if he found my hypothetical betrayal of my team compelling.
You spent 30 seconds on that and then said, you watch baseball? You like
trying to get to 2 questions. I was changing up my angle.
But you know what the problem is?
Evasive.
You left it open for him to poke holes in your argument. And today, fortunately, you were evasive enough in his cross-examination that it did seem to negate part of it, but his cross-ex much stronger. So it really does come down to conclusions. We will be ruling today in favor of Kevin Sherrill based off of this particular reason. Although Egg argued a very strong point, the crux of his concluding argument was the fact that we need loyalty. He was stealing from Lord of the Rings a closing argument of friendship and loyalty and nobility that I thought, that doesn't make any sense. And you left it open for the skeezy used car salesman to basically come in and go, betrayal's where the TV is at. And I think to myself, he's not wrong. What I would propose for the future court, though, is this. I think you make it a point to say, yes, we keep the innovation small, but we at the PGF are known for our innovations, and I believe that going forward, that is something we should continue to do.
Is this ruling set in stone? Have we concluded?
He doesn't want to pull a Tim.
I'm very nervous.
It depends. What do you have to say next?
If it still depends, probably nothing. Probably nothing.
You don't want to rock the boat?
Yeah, I really don't want to. I don't want to trip right there on the finish line.